All right, everyone. I know I've not done very good with this in the last couple of years, putting videos out consistently, but here we are with a video today, and I hope you enjoy the video that we have for today on this channel. Anyway, I'm Jason. Welcome to my channel, Full Metal Gamer. This is a place where we discuss things that includes heavy metal and video games. So today we're going to be doing a review of a brand new album from the traditional heavy metal band called Haunt, and this is their Dreamers record. This record dropped on March 1st, and we're now going to get around to it. So stick around, watch the video in its entirety. I would greatly appreciate it, and I hope you enjoyed today's video. So let's jump right into it. Introductions are in order. So if you don't know who Haunt is a traditional heavy metal band from Fresno, California. The band was formed by Trevor Church. And if you don't know who Trevor Church is, Trevor was mostly known for his project in Beastmaker, which Beastmaker is basically the doom metal version of what Haunt is, which is the traditional heavy metal version of the band. Since Haunt's inception, Haunt has released a myriad of singles, albums, EPs, compilations, splits, name it, Haunt has done it all. Not to mention, they are one of the most touring bands I've ever seen. I don't know too many people who don't know who Haunt is. How is their sound? Their sound is basically like Judas Priest, Maiden-esque kind of riffing, but throw in those like synthwaves, 80s tropes kind of ambience to the songs, and that's basically what Haunt is. Here's a good one for you. If you like the Stranger Things soundtrack, this might be up your alley. So if that interests you, please continue watching this video for my review of their Dreamers record, which is, I believe, their 8th studio album. So let's jump into what I really enjoyed about this record. So if you've ever listened to a Haunt record, you pretty much know what to expect. Some people might think that's a good thing, some people might think that's a bad thing. In my personal opinion, I think it's a good thing. The songwriting's good, the riffing's fun, the production's great, and there's also something new with every single Haunt record that gets introduced. With Golden Arm, we saw more synth being included in the songwriting, because if you've ever listened to Trevor speak in interviews and stuff, he really likes the idea of being more of a hard 80s kind of like hard rock band, more so than a metal band. So the new thing with this record is, right out the gate, track 1, we got an acoustic intro. Now, go back to the discography, there's not too much of that to be found. So, to come right out the gate on this record with an acoustic intro, and the way it's executed, it's pretty interesting to say the least. This song could have easily been put in the middle of the record, but Trevor chose to put it at the start of the record, which is to be like, hey, look, here's something new, so if you were expecting something similar or the same, well, here we go, we're throwing this curveball at you. Now, I don't know if Trevor meant to do this, but I thought the first track had a very strong In Flames vibe, which is interesting because I don't really think Trevor listens to In Flames. If I'm wrong, Trevor, please let me know. With the synth inclusion on the last record, Golden Arm, you can find more of that on this record. Tracks like Steel Mountain and Send Me an Angel have that kind of like 80s synth wave kind of vibe to them. Think of like Journey, like Separate Ways kind of stuff, but not as aggressive. But that's still something similar enough so that you can get an idea. Now, tracks like Return to Sender and Dreamers, if you are expecting a Haunt record or something similar or familiar to sink your teeth into, then those two tracks are for you. Those two tracks can be found on any other Haunt released from the past. So, if you really like Haunt music, that's a good thing for you. The last two songs on this record, which is One Chance and Visions, they do something kind of different to close out the record. One Chance kind of gives me like a punk rock kind of vibe, which it's not that crazy to imagine that there's a punk influence, being that Trevor's from California, and I know that, there's, skating and stuff, that there's, very, very prevalent, probably punk influence there. So that's probably not unreasonable to make the assumption. But then you got the last track, Visions. And Visions is more like a traditional heavy metal kind of like anthem to close out the record. At a certain point in the song, you get the double bass going, and it's like, oh, this is not usually something that Haunt does in their songs. So it's fitting, being that it's the last track on the record. So altogether, you got a pretty condensed and a pretty unique experience. It's not too long, not too short. It's just right. And if you were wanting a new Haunt record and you're wanting something good from the discography, this is for you. What's the bad on this record? There isn't anything bad on this record. Let's move on. Alright, so my final thoughts about this record. Once again, if you were expecting a Haunt record, you got one. If you were wanting something new to go with that Haunt record, you got it. If you wanted to hear better production compared to the previous records, you absolutely got it. If you want more Haunt records in the future, you're gonna get more Haunt records in the future. What can I say? It's a very good Haunt record. I think I personally enjoyed Golden Arm a little bit more, but I like the variety that Dreamers offered in comparison to the last record. Let's be completely honest, this felt like part 2 to Golden Arm. If that interests you and if you liked Golden Arm, then absolutely grab Dreamers. It's definitely worth picking up. This is what the album looks like. Go on to the Haunt Bandcamp and pick up your copy today. This is also through Church Recordings. So if you like anything, you want to support great underground heavy metal or just great underground music in general, definitely pick up a copy.